everybody. Raul here for Bass Musician Magazine, and today we have the great honor and pleasure of being in the legendary Rudy Sarzo's house, and he's got some exciting stuff to tell us. But before he does, I want to extend a belated happy birthday to you, Rudy. It's 2 days after your birthday. Congratulations.
Thank you. I've made it. I made it to my 70th birthday and 2 days later.
There you go. There you go. That's always good. Now, on to the exciting part. Rudy's here to talk to you all about the Spark from Positive Grid that he's been having a lot of fun playing with, and he's going to go into some great detail and tell you all about it. Rudy, take it away.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. You know what? I've been getting so many requests from people asking me what's the deal with the Spark, especially for the bass, you know. So thank you so much for allowing me to, give my experience with the Spark so far.
Yeah.
Because really, it's a really deep amplifier or system. I like to call it a system because there's so many things you can do with it. Plus, you can connect it with your iPad or iPhone, any smart device, and run it from there. And not only that, what you're also doing is you're accessing all of these different functions right here in the menu. For example, you can actually go to, I'm going to put my bass down so I can handle everything here with one hand. Okay, so music, you can actually, it has a smart jam feature. And I want to jump into this first because once I get into the actual using it as an amplifier, I'm going to, it's like me going down the rabbit hole with this. It's great. But just briefly let you know that it's also a practice amp. It has these play-along songs, that let's say we got this one going on here. And I'm going to raise the volume on my iPad. Probably what it's doing is, okay, see, it's playing through the amplifier right now. And it gives you the chords. It gives you the groove, and this is mainly the way it's set up right now is for guitar players because it actually gives you a virtual rhythm section, drums and bass to play along with, and then chord changes and things like that. This is with this environment. Then after that, you can actually go to Spotify or YouTube and pick a song, and is the camera, you can make your own videos, tutorial videos with this and upload it. Yeah, in this setting here. I mean, this thing is just amazing, Whoever came up with this idea is a freaking genius and should get the Nobel Prize. That's all I'm saying, Okay, it's all set up to go. But going back to the features of what I use it for everyday purpose. It's an incredible amplifier. Of course, it's very popular as a guitar amplifier, but anything, especially at this volume, practice or a rehearsal hall or something like that where you have like a bunch of guys playing with smaller amplifiers. This is great for either guitar or bass. It has these two little speakers right here, and it's got a horn in the middle, so it handles all the high frequencies, and if you're popping and all of that, it comes right through. It's just an amazing little amplifier here. Let me see what I got. Okay, so this is the meat and potatoes. Oh, and before we go on, right here, there's a USB, right? So you can go straight to a computer and record with all these sounds, which means that you don't have to use the plugin, suck up the power, let's say, using Pro Tools. And once you start putting in all the plugins and that, it starts, bogging down your system. No, because it's all done right here with the Spark. USB is a USB interface, so you do not need another box to hook up to. It's just really, really well thought out. And so, before I start playing and working with the presets here, I want to give you a little rundown. Okay, first of all, it's USB. There's the USB portals back here, as I mentioned before. This just for the power supply. Auxiliary, so you can actually bypass USB and just go right in, with a mini stereo jack. And this lets you know that it's syncing. And when we look at the front, so it's very simple, but very powerful. And then when you look at the front here, it's another very simple and powerful. Now, there's some things that you can do. Once you have a preset here, you can actually bypass your interface on your smart device and go here to these settings, because these settings will override the ones on your smart device right here on the Spark amp. Another thing is, which means, let's say you're rehearsing and you cannot reach your smart device, but you need to change something.
Mm-hmm.
It's all right here anyways,
Nice.
So, and one of the interesting things is that if you want to change your amp really quickly, you can do it right here, this setting, to actually zoom in on it. You have choices of either acoustic or bass amplifiers. So let's say acoustic amplifiers for your acoustic instrument, right? Then you got the bass instrument. And then you start going into like clean, glassy, crunch, high gain, and metal. And these will change all your amp settings. It's unbelievable. Plus, it's got all these 4 presets right here with these little lights are blinking. And when they're blinking, when they blink, it means that I change the preset. I might have changed some of the, let's say, the treble of the mid or something. So once I say, okay, I like it that way, I can actually save it by pressing the flashing light. Or I can just take it to another one, just like change it around without saving it. Saving it, you have to hold it for a few seconds, right? And then I will return to the original preset, the way it was set up here. So you got 4 presets. They could be anything. Mm-hmm. It could be guitar presets. It could be any sort of preset you want, right? This blink a little light here, right? This is for your tuner. This works in conjunction with your tuner here, also with effects that have some sort of a tempo, like a delay or something, so it'll give you that, right? So, this is amazing. It's got, okay, so we looked at the amplifier. So you have gain, bass, mid, treble, master. So it's all set up just like the front end of most of the amplifiers that are available right here on your interface, your smart device. Then you start going into how much modulation, because there's a chain that you can see on top of it of pedals, right on top of the amps, that chain. So you can access that chain of how much of that effect you want on with these knobs right here. Modulation, let's say chorus, flanging, whatever, delay, reverb, and then the master output. This is right here. This is either for the speaker volume or your headphone volume. So let's say you're with your laptop, computer, whatever. You go USB out of here, USB into your laptop, and you can listen to the playback on whatever you're recording with headphones. So let's say, your family is sleeping and you get up in the middle of the night, you have some inspiration. So you come over to your room, you plug in, and it's all within your headphones, everything, one box. You don't need all these different interfaces. I can't rave enough about this amplifier. It's amazing. And it's very light, too, And it's very loud. Light and loud. I love that.
There you go. Well, it's impressive because it's a 40-watt amp. And so you're getting a lot of sound.
Yeah, I haven't been past 5,
wow.
midnight, halfway. Actually, that's like the loudest. It's really loud. And one great thing about it is, for example, you know how a lot of amplifiers cannot take the input of let's say a Spectre with a active pickups, right? Well, let me show you what this one sounds like. Very clean. There's no that clipping of the front end of the preamp or anything. It's just, it's fantastic. And do you want me to get into like the little presets here?
Oh, sure. Whatever you want to share.
Yeah, it comes with a virtual pedal board that it's just the front end and the back end saying like the loop effects. That's what you see after that. most musicians like to have the chorusing and delay and all that in the loop effect. So this is the other side of it, right? But this side is what goes in the front of the amplifier. Let's say gates, noise gates, or compressors, and so on. Drive, overdrive. So it's split into different sections. So let's say right now I have the gate. Okay, I'm going to turn off the gate, and what I'm going to do is see this LA comp.
Yeah.
It to me, from experience, it sounds to my ears better for guitar than it does for bass. So there's some dedicated virtual. That's probably Positive Grid calling me saying, "You forgot to say this." But I'm not done yet. Okay, comps, right? So my favorite one is actually it kind of looks like a EBS graphic on it. This one, it says bass comp, right? And that one to me has the most accurate tonality to it. So I close it. Now I have this pseudo EBS. And I say pseudos because I don't know what the deal is between the companies that they simulate, and there's some kind of. So I'm just, for right now, allegedly an EBS. But it's it's. And this is off. I can hear the subtleties, probably because there's so much compression on the Skype streaming that you're not going to hear the subtleties of it. But I do. I mean, I'm hearing from here. So let me give you some less subtle effects. So right now I'm going to turn a drive. And what you do is, if let's say this one came with this preset, right? I can go on, let's say, right here, and it's going to give me a plethora. A plethora. I love using the word plethora. I don't get to use it a whole lot, so I'm going to use it with this app a lot. Because you do have a plethora of effects on this. So, I was just mentioning about the compressors. This one comes with this particular preset. And I want to show you another feature having to do with presets. Now, what I'm going to be using is the presets already installed as my presets on my device here, on my iPad. You can actually go to a cloud where users can upload their own presets. You can use those as a starting point to create your own presets according to your needs, whatever you need it to sound like. So again, this is the, let's say I want to change, and I want to go to the EBS, allegedly an EBS pedal. And, okay, use that. And then, okay, this is without the bass comp. Now I'm going to turn it on. And if it's a little grungy, I can always roll back the gain and just. What I like to do with compressors is basically find the unity between the off and on. So let's say that's on, that's off. So yeah, so like at 9 o'clock, it's kind of like, even though it's a little bit louder, but it's okay because I don't want it to be completely off on the gain. So that's basically. Or the amount of compression you want. It's like zero compression. That's like 3/4. So that's good. So what I do is now that I got the compressor, then I'm gonna go for a drive. And I like to, because a lot of these pedals are available for you to put in your input and loop section of it. There are also guitar pedals. So I like to use something that either says bass overdrive, because I know it's going to be basically made for the bass, or sometimes you can find something that has fundamental EQ that matches both for the bass and the guitars. This overdrive happens to be one of them. Yeah, I like it. And this is this all coming out of these little speakers here. And like I mentioned before, you can actually go USB right into your Pro Tools rig or whatever you happen to be using, and record. And the playback is going to come either through the speakers, the playback of the whole project, not just one track, not just the bass track, but everything. It's going to come either through these speakers, or you can listen through the headphone output. It's really amazing, But anyways, going back to this preset that we have, and how you can change things. Let's say there's this amplifier that is kind of like allegedly an Ampeg. It looks like an Ampeg.
Yeah.
Smells like an Ampeg. It's an Ampeg. But you can just tap on here, and here you have a plethora of amplifiers to choose from. Towards the bottom, that's when you get the bass amp. But if you start rolling towards the beginning, you get like a Fender. Oh, American Deluxe. You get a plexiglass. Oh, let's see what it sounds like with a plexi. Of course, it's got overdrive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the overdrive, because already the plexi is going to give you the overdrive effect. And let's see what it would sound like if you want to sound like Lemmy. There you go. Yeah, if you got a Rickenbacker and you just got a pick, you just plug right in. You start getting that tone. So, I mean, it's mind-boggling what you can actually do with this Spark amp. I mean, it's kind of like use your imagination and then go beyond that. Start playing with it, going like, what if, because it's all possible here. It's limitless, really. What do you think so far?
Oh man, well, I have to say I'm blown away by the amount of possibilities. It's mind-boggling, and it's really great that you can try things. If you're doing regular pedals, think of how many pedals you'd have to buy. Trial and error, you try it doesn't work, or you got a guitar pedal and it wasn't great with your bass, or so this, before you know it, and how many pedal boards, I'm sure you've seen as many as I have, that have like gazillion pedals on it. You can figure it all out right there, without even having to have gone out and find all of these pedals.
I think it's a great marketing tool for the pedals and the amplifiers that are being emulated.
Yeah.
Because, it's considered a practice amp, even though I've used it for beyond that. I mean, I've actually used this with one of my favorite presets, gone out of the headphone into a bass stack. And I use this as my pedal board.
There you go.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's it's an incredible design. It's a beautiful piece of technology. It's just amazing. I mean, there's so many things. I was talking to Eric over at a Positive Grid about, because of the USB output capabilities in and out. This could be a hub for musicians all over the world to be able to be plugged into their own and Spark units and be able to jam in real time. You already have a capability like that. You can go to Spotify, pick a song, and it'll give you the chords to play along to. It's an incredible learning tool. It's just unbelievable.
Well, and especially if you think about how many times when you think of a practice amp, you're basically thinking about just some tiny little thing you can have maybe in your dressing room, maybe on the tour bus that you can be noodling around, and your expectations are so low. I mean, it's just some way to hear your instrument. But this is so much more than that. That's what's
yeah.
really impressive. And
Yeah.
it's very affordable. I know probably a lot of people will go, oh, it's going to be a ton of money to do this. You know, if people go to positivegrid.com, you can see exactly how affordable this is for pretty much anybody.
Yeah, it's about the price of one pedal.
Yeah.
Basically, if you want to buy a pedal, I know they have like special offers often, and it comes down to about $250 US dollars.
Yeah.
You know, when the offer is good. But man, I mean, this is the best $250 that you can actually spend on, you know.
Very cool. And you played through your Spectre. Is it as effective with the passive bass? Because I know a lot of people like to play passive.
Sure. So here is just a regular jazz. It's in made in Mexico, Geddy Lee jazz. I'm really into signature models because I have my own signature model, and I know the pride and the quality control that especially the artist who puts the signature on the instrument has with their signature model. Plus it's a Fender.
Yeah.
You know, you can always trust a Fender. You know, and this is the Geddy Lee. Just as a matter of fact, these are actual custom shop Geddy Lee pickups that I had installed at Corona Custom Shop. So it's basically, you know, let me change the setting. Oh, you know what? Let me just, okay, right here. I didn't even have to go back to here and, you know, to the iPad to change it. I just switched over to a different preset and automatically erased whatever changes I have made to the previous preset because I did not save that preset. But if you save it, it will retain all the changes. So it's a little, of course, it's a lower output being passive. So you it's got growl, it's got all the harmonics, you know, and I push up a button. That's more of a grittier tone. Yeah, let me just put some, let's see, some chorusing on this. You just tap on it. Chorusing. This is one of my favorite ones. I never heard this in a pedal before. It's called the Tremolator. And then, of course, just like any pedal, you go in there and, you know, if you like that preset, you can tweak it, you know.
There you go.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So now I got the Tremolator, and because of the way it sounds, I really do not need a delay, so I'm just going to add a little reverb. And this one's called Chamber. I'm just playing around with different reverbs, and of course, you know, you can add, let's say this is the plate long. That's reverb. So,
wow.
I'm just trying to show you, it's whatever's in your head that you're trying to match. Okay, I got a sound in my head, and you can work towards that with this Spark. I mean, to me, I like to call it a system because it's not just an amp. I mean, there's so much stuff that you can do with it. And like I was telling you before, this is the cloud And in the cloud is user presets, from people like us who create a preset and want to share it with the world. So we upload it to the cloud, and it's really a great place to actually find some ideas.
I get the concept. It's good. And one thing I know that people may ask is a question I have. The app itself is a free app?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. No charge, no subscription fee or anything. This is, let's say if you do go to Spotify, there are certain features about Spotify that are bigger than for, if you're a subscriber than other members, like myself. I do have my show, 6 Degrees of Sarzo. It's available on Spotify now. I just want to mention that.
Good to know.
But anyway, so this is from the cloud, and you can spend a whole day scrolling through these.
Wow.
Okay. Some of them are great. Some of them are
Yeah.
But hey, I really appreciate the effort of everybody contributing. This is great. Sharing, because let's say you're working on something and they'll say, wow, I wish I had a tone such as Chris Squire.
Yeah.
So you go in here and you go, Chris Squire, you just input the name and you get a whole bunch of presets. Now, that might not be exactly what you're looking for, but it's a starting point.
Gotcha.
And then you just tweak it to your own satisfaction and save it. Or you can share it with everybody else. Say, hey, this is my version of the Chris Squire preset. Yeah.
Well, Rudy, we appreciate you taking time and inviting us into your house to share the Spark by Positive Grid. Folks, if Rudy's having so much fun with it, imagine how much fun you can have with it too.
That's right.
This is a blast.
It's a blast. And actually, like I said, it's not just for bass players, for guitar players too. So, let's say in my case, when I do some projects, I also play guitar on the project. So I switch around. I have my favorite presets for certain sounds and tones. And so I not only use it for the bass, but I use it for the guitar also. Also, it's if you have USB on your TV set, or if you're going to a party, you just USB from your device into this, and it's a huge boom box.
Wow.
Or TV, what do they call that? The bar?
Yeah,
TV
the sound bar.
Yeah, sound bar, yeah.
Man, this is just amazing. Well, people, if you want to know more about the Spark from Positive Grid, go to positivegrid.com for more details. Rudy, again, thank you so much. You've seen him here. Rudy Sarzo, the Spark from Positive Grid on Bass Musician Magazine.